Hello again from my front porch. I am here today with my baker gear on because I've been promising for a while I was going to update you on what was going on with work stuff, and today's the day. I'm gonna fill you in on as much as I can, at least at this point. I'm going to start with the punchline. 2 years ago, May 1 of 2019, I started with Baker Construction Enterprises. Baker Construction Enterprises being the umbrella parent over multiple other companies that roll up underneath that. The largest of which is Baker Concrete Construction, which is the nation's largest concrete construction company, building things like shopping malls and apartment complexes and high-rise buildings and museums and stadiums and all that kind of stuff. Big, massive building projects. Sometimes entire campuses, like an Exxon campus in Texas that was multiple buildings and car ramps and all this stuff, and involved with doing all of that kind of stuff. For those of you who live here in the Des Moines area, yet again I will reiterate, it is in no way connected to Baker Electric whatsoever. It just happens to be the same name Baker, but no connection at all. But beyond that, I started a year ago, and it started with just me. I was department. There were a couple of other individuals who were already on staff that were supposed to be reporting to me, but it didn't take too long into that process before we figured out that they were not good choices for this. They were not suited for what needed to be done, and so ultimately both of them ended up not being there. So that at that point it became just Paul, just Department 1. I was given the lofty title of head of training for the nation's largest concrete construction company, but I had nobody working for me. It was just me, and I was creating curriculum to target our frontline field leaders, the foremen out in the field. And so that was where we were at 2 years ago, just 2 years ago. Now here I sit today, and that program I was working on is finished. It has been rolled out. It's a full 8-month program. Now there's only 4 days, 4 days that those individuals spend in a classroom. The rest of it is all entirely on the job. However, it is still an 8-month commitment of work. And so, that being the case, there's a lot of logistics goes into it. There's a lot of effort from what those on my end are doing in order to make that function. We have already rolled this out in our DC office. We rolled it out in our Denver office. And we rolled it out in our Cincinnati area office, but not in Cincinnati area. It's actually for some of our other subsidiary companies. Dugan & Myers, TWC, LRT. All of those are some of the others of those little companies that roll up under Baker Construction Enterprises. So anyway, that was already in the works, and we started hiring additional people, not only to help with the delivery of things, but also because we quickly discovered that 85% or so of our target audience population speaks Spanish as their language of preference, and so that means that we are going to be most effective if we deliver in Spanish. Now, my problem is I don't know Spanish. I took 3 years of French in high school. Thank you, Mr. Vreeland. I enjoyed it very much. It was a good time. However, in my more adult professional life, the career path I've been on, the French hasn't really helped me a lot. I probably should have taken Spanish. I had the option back then, but I didn't. I don't regret it because I enjoyed French class, and I enjoyed all the friends and all the creative projects we got to do. Our trip to Quebec, Canada, great memories, really enriching for me personally, and so I don't regret it. But there are times when I kind of wish I would have studied Spanish, like now when I'm dealing with these people. But what it means is that anybody I hire has to be bilingual, because I lean on them to deliver the Spanish type content. And that's okay, that's working too. But so 2 years ago, it mainly was just me doing all that needed done. Here we are now, just 2 years later, I now have 9 people reporting to me. That's right, 9 people. Now, one of them, his name is Tony. He was already working at Baker even long before I was hired and brought on. He does field engineering workshops all around the country for us, and so he just got his accountability shifted over to me. He now reports to me as opposed to somebody else that he was reporting to before. And then I've got 2 consultants as well. One consultant that is a former Green Beret, and he's brought in because of his leadership knowledge and skills and his insights on things. And so he's tasked with helping with some different projects, some training, some more operational, but it was determined that it made sense for him to report to me, that I give him some oversight for the work that he is doing, and that's great. And then another consultant I have, her name is Sarah. She actually lives here in Des Moines, and she's somebody I've known for years. And I've got her hired to help us develop a matrix for measuring the impact of our training using the business metrics. You know, what the things the business uses to say this is how we know our work is successful. I want to try to piggyback on those same things to show that the training has been successful. I want to be able to talk that same lingo to be able to validate that we are having a business impact, that we're seeing those results from a business standpoint. And so it's a great target, it's a great incentive, a great goal, and she's going to do a great job with that. She's already working well on that. But anyway, but then the other people, the other 6 on my team, all of them are trainers, frontline trainers, training people, and right now almost all of them focused exclusively on helping roll out this program, which is a good thing because coming up here starting this week, at the beginning of this week here, we are in Washington, D.C., where we are graduating. We're having a ceremony, a banquet dinner, and we're graduating the very first group to finally complete the program. They should have been done long ago. We got bogged down twice last year because of COVID, and so it dragged their program out a lot longer than it otherwise would have been. But they finally got there, and so we're going to be in Washington, D.C., because that's where that first group was. We'll be there. We're going to be doing this banquet. We're going to be doing the celebration, and Dan Baker, the founder of our company, will be there himself personally to help hand out certificates. And so that's going to be a wonderful, special time for everybody involved. And looking forward to that. But the end of the week, the last couple of days of the week, we're going to be down in Fort Lauderdale launching another new program, another piece of this training for the frontline field leaders, doing the very first rollout of it there in Fort Lauderdale. And so that's going to be exciting as well. But that's only the tip of the iceberg, because over the next couple of months, we are going to have launched our programs in more in Washington, D.C. We will launch them in Denver, in Phoenix, in Fort Lauderdale, in Orlando, in Atlanta, and in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then this last week, I was in meetings in our Baton Rouge office and in our Houston, Texas office, and both of them are interested in wanting to get some stuff going from their end as well. So longer than the next couple of months, but before the end of this year, we're likely going to see some stuff starting to happen in those 2 areas also. And so a lot of activity going on. And we've got this one program that has 2 or 3 different branches of it. One that targets the foreman, one that now is targeting more the superintendent level, and then also a separate little program that targets those who are going to be mentors to people in the longer foreman program, which is generally at a superintendent group. But not all superintendents that take their level course are going to be mentors, because you still have the right mentality, to do it. And so we've got these kind of 3 different programs that branch off this one central hub, but we've got a whole list of other programs, other things that we want to develop, some of which are already in development. The level 2 and level 3 of this program that we already are doing. I'm currently working on fleshing those out, what those are going to look like. Also, I've got members of my team that are at work trying to put together language training, literacy training. One of the biggest language issues we currently have is that we have leadership level individuals who speak English but no Spanish, or very little, very little Spanish. And then they have an increasing number of workers who speak Spanish and very little English. And it makes the connection, the dialogue, difficult for them to have. So we're going to be developing sort of a survival Spanish in a construction environment online course, so instructor-led course over the web, and offering that up to anybody in the company that wants to be part of those sessions. I think that's going to go over very well. Tony, who I mentioned earlier, he's got some workshops put together for things like reading plans and drawings that he's only done a little bit of, but we're going to be ramping up to do more of that. He's doing some AutoCAD training on some things as well. So he's working in some of that kind of stuff, and so we've got a lot of different little irons in the fire. And so it might be, in the near future, we might be looking to hire some additional training people as well. We got to get this stuff all rolling, and we'll see where things go, but that could happen. My team could expand even further. It is going to expand at least one position, though, because one of the other areas of responsibility that I now have is our LMS, our Learning Management System, which has not been effectively used. And in many organizations, that's the case. It has primarily been used as a reporting tool, which is an awful expensive reporting tool, if that's all you're really using it for. It's supposed to be used to help deliver virtual training. It could help facilitate live instruction too if you have classes people can register for, sign up for, but that model doesn't really work real well for us yet at this point. However, we could be using it as a platform to offer more virtual training, more just-in-time training, and that's not being done very effectively at this point. So we need to ramp that up, and to do that, right now, the person who is the primary owner of the LMS or the primary administrator of the LMS is somebody who's in our corporate HR area. She's brilliant, she's smart, she's good at what she does. However, HR is her full-time job. The LMS stuff is just an add-on, a tack-on to things. And so as a result, she's not able to focus on it as much as even she says she would like to do. So the LMS has become my responsibility. And when I say my responsibility, I mean all of the costs related to it have shifted into my budget now too. And so I literally own the LMS that we're doing. And so that being the case, I'm now leading a group that meets every Monday morning. And we walk through what's going on with the LMS and the progression of things, development of things, identifying where are there areas needed for improvement, and what we can do to fix things, to address things, try to help things keep moving forward as we need to. So that's part of it. But I am going to be looking at adding another member to my team. We're going to be adding somebody who is a full-time position of overseeing the LMS, not just as a record-keeping tool, but as a means of fostering our virtual learning and promoting that more. And so that'll be exciting too, to put that in there. But, so at that point, I'd have 10 people reporting to me. And it's mind-boggling when you stop and really think about it, because 2 years ago, it was me. It was just me and some ideas, some concepts. And since then, we have successfully launched those concepts. We continue to evolve them, to tweak them, to improve them. And along the way, we have made things really strong and really impactful. We're hearing awesome stories of success. Sarah's going to help us be able to quantify some of that success, but we're hearing the qualitative stories that are fantastic, that are wonderful. And so we want to keep building on that, keep that momentum going as well. But I'm really excited to see what's going to happen. By the way, 3 of my new people, they're only about a month and a half into it, maybe 2 months. And so they don't quite have their feet under them yet. They're still in their learning curve cycle. But I'm excited once they get up to speed to see what they can do as well, and to see how that's going to allow us to flourish. Because the ultimate goal is that everybody on the team, especially those 6 who are devoted to this program, that they would ultimately be able to all stand on their own and be facilitating all by themselves, potentially then in 6 different locations at the same time. Now, whether we would actually do that or not, I don't know, because again, we're trying to build other training classes, other training programs too, that, some of those will need facilitated as well. So, we'll see where the future goes. But the point being, I'm so excited. When I first was looking to take this job, part of the I struggled. I really, because I wasn't even looking. I've told you the story. I don't want to rehash all it, but I was not looking for a new job. I was very happy where I was at Waldinger, and they were treating me very well, and I was good. I was okay there. But then these folks tracked me down. Most likely because of the book that I'd written, but whatever the motivation, however they did that, they tracked me down, and I've told the story about how they roped me in and got me on board. So I won't rehash that again. But it really was a struggle for me making that decision. Excuse me. My son Alex and I, we actually talked about that on Father's Day when we were doing our little get together with the movie stuff. That we talked about how that was a struggle because he was involved with some of those conversations. When I was bouncing ideas off people and what do you think about different things, and yeah, he was like, yeah, I remember that was tough for you. I remember, yeah, you really struggled about that. But I'm so glad I made the decision. The reason that I made it ultimately was because of that whole. If I say no, how much will I regret it? If I don't try this opportunity, I will always wonder what might have been. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to live with that kind of regret. And so that was why I ultimately took the job. And looking back, it was a good choice. Because literally, this job I'm doing now and the things that I am empowered to be able to do, the authority that I'm given, the creativity and the opportunity, the freedom that I and my team have to do things has been phenomenal. And the level of support from the top down and from the bottom up has been phenomenal. Years ago, if you would have asked me, Paul, what kind of job would you one day like to be doing? What I would have described to you would have sounded very much like what I'm doing right now. And that is so exciting. It is so exciting. Now, it doesn't mean that every day is, the easy street and that there isn't some challenges and there isn't some stress that comes into play. But that's the case with every scenario, with every job. And anytime there are people involved, there's going to be stuff you got to deal with. But what you have to do is you have to look beyond that to the richness of the opportunity you have. And my opportunity is very wonderfully rich. And I am so thrilled and excited to get to do it. I am so thrilled and excited to get to work with the people that I'm working with. And we are now that COVID dealt us a blow last year, which slowed a lot of things down. But now we're starting to see things fire up. And I'm excited to see where that journey goes. Unfortunately, that also means that my to-do list continues to be big and my need to travel to places has continued to ramp up. I'm hopeful that in the fairly near future, I won't have to do as much travel because all those people on my team are doing more of that. But for now, I am still getting in the miles and taking care of that. But I'm not complaining because I'm loving every day of what I do. So there you go. There is my update on how things are going with my job. I've been promising you that for a long time. Part of the reason I've put it off so long was because a lot of these things I just told you about were all kind of in the works. We need to eventually, well, now we have dates and now we have plans and these things are happening. And so now that allows me to be able to share with you all. This is the excitement of what's happening. So, yay! All right, with that, I'll let you go. I got plenty to do. And I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.